Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your February the 2nd just for today in a meditation. It's about 3:10 a.m. I'm excited to be with you this morning. I hope you have beautiful rest, and when you wake up, you will have a beautiful meditation. Look at that. The title of the meditation for today is Goodwill. Goodwill is best exemplified in service. Proper service is doing the right thing for the right reason. Now, that comes from the basic text, Roman numeral 15. The spiritual core of our disease is self-centeredness. In dealing with others, the only motive our addiction taught us was selfishness. We wanted what we wanted when we wanted it. Obsession with self was rooted in the very ground of our lives. In recovery, how do we root self-obsession out? We reverse the effects of our disease by applying a few very simple spiritual principles. To counteract the self-centeredness of our addiction, we learn to apply the principle of goodwill. Rather than seeking to serve only ourselves, we begin serving others. Rather than thinking only about what we can get out of a situation, we learn to think first of the welfare of others. When faced with a moral choice, we learn to stop, recall spiritual principles, and act appropriately. As we begin doing the right thing for the right reason, we can detect a change in ourselves. Where once we were ruled by self-will, now we are guided by our goodwill for others. The chronic self-centeredness of addiction is losing its hold on us. We are learning to practice these principles in all our affairs. We are living in our recovery, not in our disease. Just for today, wherever I am, whatever I do, I will seek to serve others, not just myself. When faced with a dilemma, I will try to do the right thing for the right reason. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. A moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a marvelous meditation. I love it when we talk about goodwill. I love it. I love the simple explanation of what goodwill is, because I know for me, I don't know about you, but I know for me, when I first heard the term goodwill, I had never heard those two words, will and good, put together. So when I thought about goodwill, I thought about the place where you go get secondhand. Come on, somebody. When I thought about Goodwill, I thought about the place where you go get secondhand clothing. I thought it was a title of a secondhand clothing store or just secondhand goods where your mother dragged you to go find a pair of tennis shoes that somebody else had worn. That's all that I knew about the term Goodwill. The thought that it actually had a meaning never occurred to me. It never occurred to me, not even once, until I got into Narcotics Anonymous. I would say, honestly, when I first came to Narcotics Anonymous, that was the first time that I ever heard goodwill used in a sense of a spiritual principle and not a title of a store. When I look at the word, and still to this day, it happens for many of us. When I look at the word goodwill, I also see God's will. I automatically just hearing the word, my spirit kind of jumps up a few notches in a good sense. And now I'm talking about God's will versus self-will. That's what it triggers in me. So I love that Narcotics Anonymous is able to make it simple for all of us. It's doing the right thing for the right reason. Doing the right thing for the right reason. So you got two components. Well, actually three. You're doing something, whatever action you're about to take. It's the right thing to do. So that deserves some time to consider. And you're doing it for the right reason. Do you know that you can actually do something with an impure motive and end up angry because it didn't get the result that you were looking for? You know why? Because it wasn't the right reason. Oh, there can be temporary gain for acting like that, but something that is lasting is rooted, right? It's rooted in doing the right thing for the right reason. Something that has longevity, something that has the ability to affect people in a positive way is rooted in doing the right thing for the right reason. Just like it says here, obsession with self, let's look at that, was rooted in the very ground of our lives. Now, when I started reading this meditation, I thought to myself, you know what? This will be a very quick meditation until I read these two sentences. Obsession with self was rooted in the very ground of our lives. I said, oh, now they want to take it to the ground. I said, okay, thank you, NA. Now you want to take it to the ground. Now you want to get really, really deep on this term goodwill that we really need for you to keep quite simple, right? Then the question in recovery, how do we root self-obsession out? Yeah. Then my mind said, okay, now this is about a conversation. And it said that we can reverse the effects, right, of our disease, right? We can reverse the effects of our self-obsession. We can reverse the effects of our obsession with self having roots that go so far down that it's hard to pull these weeds of negativity out even. To weed it out, we reverse the effects of our disease by doing what? It says it right here. Applying a few very simple spiritual principles. So in order to counteract self-obsession, rather self-centeredness, right? I have to practice this principle of goodwill. It just makes sense to me. If I want to build a muscle, I'm going to have to work it out. The same thing here. If I want goodwill, the ability to innately do the right thing for the right reason, right? I'm going to have to root out my self-obsession. And the only way that that happens, I'm sorry, right? The only way that that happens is if I'm willing to roll my sleeves up and do the work. What does that mean? What does that look like? Because we're not talking about going outside and, working in the garden, although spiritually speaking, that's exactly what we're talking about. Get my tools ready, my sponsor, my literature, my step working guide is literature, right? My network, my meeting making, my service doing in the spirit of goodwill. I line up my tools and I take them figuratively. I gather all my tools up and then I go in and I begin to root out this self-centeredness. Do you know sometimes that you can have plants that you really want entangled with weeds, and it's hard to know the difference, that you might have to actually Google it and go find out, is this a weed or not? Because it can be very beautiful. Self-obsession can have some wonderful results. And it can be very difficult to root it out because it looks so good. It looks so good. But at the end of the day, that obsession with yourself has these roots that they grow underground, and they start making their way into other things that you may not expect. These roots can start affecting your relationships with people. And people will start saying, seem like the only thing she ever talked about is this. Or there's something about her. I know she's the chair, but my goodness, that is something about her I do not like. Yeah, you can find that these roots begin to affect marriages, families, right? Jobs, relationships, finances. Yeah. So the only way to root them out, to pull these weeds that are so negative out, is to be able to discern what it looks like. And they've given us a very simple solution to figure that out. It looks like the thing that you did, it was the wrong thing, or it could have been the right thing, but it was definitely for the wrong reason. Huh. I don't know. I still have work to do. Honestly, I still have work to do at 3:21 in the morning. I still have to take these tools with me and roll them up and do the right thing for the right reason. I have to go in there and find out what things are still having a residual effect on my life because I didn't handle the situation with goodwill. I don't want that for you guys. I really don't. Listen, my name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. At some point in time, and I'll give you some notice, you'll look at the channel, something will pop up, and what it's going to say is premiere. And it will give you a set date and a time to join me live. Now, listen, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just want to share something with you. If you've held on this long, let's go back to this particular screen. Do you see that? Can you see this right here, this number right here that I just highlighted? I just hit 500 subscribers. And you know what? I'm told myself that when I hit that mile mark of 500, that milestone of 500 subscribers, I'm going to go live. Now, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I want you to remember that I have a funeral for my father here in the next week, right? So hopefully I will be able to do it before I take off for Iowa next week, Thursday, right? And I'm going to be ministering the word, right, for that. So I got things on my mind is what I'm saying, right? I got some things on my mind. Hopefully I will be able to premiere and go live before I take off for Iowa. I want to celebrate with you guys because you've been sticking with me and hanging out with me. And this is a big deal. This is truly a big deal to me. I'm excited about it. Okay, so I just wanted to share that real quickly with you. And I know you'll celebrate with me. Drop down in the comments how you're feeling about it, what you think we should talk about. I'd be interested in that. What do you think we should be talking about? Would you like to hear a speaker, someone sitting down opposite of me live and hear them give their experience, strength, and hope? Would you like to engage that way? Give me your thoughts on that. But in the meantime, I want to make sure that you're listening, you're liking, obviously you've subscribed, but share it with other individuals that you believe could use some encouragement every morning. I want you to share it with someone that you believe could use encouragement every morning, because that's what I seek to do. I'm doing the right thing for the right reason in the spirit of goodwill, giving time and energy to make sure that I share the beauty of my morning with others. Okay, so that means that you're going to go out of this particular meditation and you're going to have a beautiful day on purpose, right? I intend to. Talk to you soon.